not looking the best, but I've been out like all day, so yeah, literally it's like Wales and all, with family, and yeah. Here we go with today's countries. Starting to look at Southeast Asia, as well as a couple of places here and there. So yeah. Here we go with the first, which is Burma, or also known as Myanmar. Yeah, starting off with history as usual. By 300 BC, there's kind of been civilization a lot in southern Burma. As a people called the Mon used to live in the estuaries of the rivers Sitang and Salivine, as the Indians called it the land of gold, as the civilization in Burma was also known to the Chinese. And then after about 100 BC, the people called the Pyu settled in what is northern Burma. Between the 1st century BC and the 9th century AD, they created city-states, a bit like ancient Greece and all that. And in the 9th century AD, the people called the Burma from the borders of China and Tibet arrived in North Burma, and in 1849 they founded the city of Pagan. And in 1044, Anawrahta became king of Pagan, and he united the Burma people. And in 1057, Anawrahta conquered the Mon kingdom of Taton, and in doing so he founded the first Burmese empire. And whilst the Burma assimilated Mon culture and were heavily influenced by it, and in the 12th century was more of a golden age for Burma, but in the mid-13th century the empire began to decline, and in 1287 the Mongols invaded Burma, but withdrew afterwards. Afterwards the Burmese empire broke up, as the Mon people of the south became independent, and the people called the Shan from what is now Thailand, seized parts of Burma. And in the 18th century the first Europeans reached Burma. It was an Italian named Nicola de Conti who travelled to Bagahu. And in the late 16th century the Burma people revived, and they conquered the Shan and created the second Burmese empire. And in the 17th century the French, British and Dutch made trading contact with Burma, and yet the second Burmese empire declined in 1752, as the Mon people of the south with help from the French captured Burma, the Burma capital Inwa, bringing it to an end. But the Mon triumph didn't really last long, as a Burma named, sorry for mispronouncing it, Alaun Papai led a counter-attack, and he took Inwa in 1753 and captured the Mon capital in 1755 and had renamed it Yangon. And in 1785 his successor Bodadpaya conquered western Burma and came to rule all of Burma. But the Burmese then came into conflict with the British in India, as British influence in India at the time was growing, as the British conquered Burma in stages then this address added to the colony of India, as the British and Burmese fought 3 wars, and after the First Anglo-Burmese War of 1824 to 1836, the British took parts of western Burma, and in 1852, after another war, they took part of southern Burma, and finally after a third war in 1885, the remaining parts of Burma was formally annexed by Britain on the 1st of January 1886. And not surprisingly, the Burmese were somewhat resentful of it, and in the early 20th century nationalism grew, and in 1932 there was a rebellion in Burma, but was crushed and all. But in 1937 the British made Burma a separate colony from India, as they also granted Burma a legislative council, and then again Japan invaded Burma on January 1942, and they gradually drove back the British, and they captured Mandalay on the 1st of May 1942, and in December 1942 and in February 1943 the British launched 2 different offensives, both which failed. But in March 1944 the Japanese invaded India, but they failed in taking it, and from June 1944 the British pursued them into Burma, as the British captured Mandalay on the 1945 and occupied Yangon on the 3rd of May 1945. But by 1945 it was clear that the British would no longer hold on to Burma, and in 1947 they agreed to make Burma independent, as elections for Constituent Assembly was held in April 1947, and where it began to draw up a new constitution, as Burma became independent on the 4th of January 1948. But Burma faced several years of near anarchy because of some ethnic minorities' distrust of Myanmar and rose in rebellion, but the government managed to restore order in most of Burma by the 50s. But during the 50s Burma went through an economic crisis, and finally in 1962 General Win seized power, and he announced that Burma would follow the Burmese way to socialism. But it kind of turned out to be the Burmese way to poverty. Unlike in other countries with socialism, it didn't really work, and the standards of living in Burma fell. But the people eventually lost patience. And as demonstrations were held in 1987 and 1988, as Ne Win stepped down in July 1988, but the military continued to rule Burma. And on the 8th of August 1988, a popular demonstration was held, but was crushed by the military, as thousands of people were killed. But as a result, the military government in Burma promised to hold elections, as the opposition rallied around Aung San Suu Kyi, but she was banned from participating in the elections and was placed under house arrest. But not surprisingly, the opposition won the election, but the military government refused to let the elected parliament take any power. And moreover, in 1999, the International Labour Organization recommended sanctions against Burma because of its government's use of forced labour, as Burma remained a poor an economically poor country, as there was also decades of economic mismanagement. Even though Burma is rich in resources, and furthermore Burma has suffered from mass unemployment and high inflation. And in 2007, price rises promoted Buddhist monks to demonstrate, and the long-suffering Burmese people flocked to support them. However, the military government had brutally suppressed the demonstrations, as many people were killed or detained. And in 2008, Burma was devastated by Cyclone Nargis, which killed tens of thousands of people and left even more homeless. But the junta went ahead with a referendum on a new constitution, as the junta claims that 92% voted yes. As Aung San Suu Kyi was released in 2010, and by 2012 by-elections were held in Burma, and she won a seat in Parliament. A general election was held in 2015 and again in 2016. Meeting Kyo was sworn in as president of what Burma is rich in minerals and has oil and gas deposits. The soil of Burma is fertile, and you could say that there's a reason to be optimistic about the future. But with Rohingya and all that in recent time, like the last year or two, I have no idea, and the population stands about 45 million. But with Rohingya and all, it's like, yeah. Okay, my other tablet. Moving on to the language, as it's short as usual. The Burmese language, also called Myanmar. It is the official language of Myanmar or Burma, spoken as a native language to the majority of those living in Burma, and as a second language by most native speakers of other languages in the country, as Burmese is closely related to the Lolo dialects. Let's go with the Kachinish and Krukish language is of Myanmar and neighbouring countries, and the Tibeto-Burman group of Sino-Tibetan language family. As modern standard Burmese has undergone more changes from old Burmese that have most of the dialects. The Arakanese dialect is kind of more conservative. As the earliest extant Burmese writing dates from the middle to the 11th century, and is written in an alphabet derived from the Pali language of Indian Ceylon. As Old Burmese, the language of the writing is not as conservative as like Old Tibetan, and to which it is related and all. Yeah. Language isn't done, and moving on to legends. As Asians can be some of the more superstitious people in the world, and the Burmese can be no exception to this, as local legends and cultural beliefs have been heavily influenced by like Buddhism and Hinduism and all, as Myanmar is like 90% Buddhist, and it can be readily apparent where these beliefs come from, as mythical creatures can be throughout the god, found throughout like Burma and all. Yeah. As Myanmar has like a number of their own mythical creatures that can be reminiscent of like Greek mythology and all that either resemble real life or imaginary animals, and having a single combined from several animals. And many mythical creatures originate from like the life stories of Buddha, and the most famous of these is probably the Chin Fei. So if you've watched any of it, he was a mythical lion, known for the bravery and stateliness, and therefore considered as an appropriate guard to religious shrines and all. And yeah, as we're going through a couple of them now. So that's another Chin Fei, no, the lion. Is a Leogryph, or lion-like creature. According to Myanmar legends, the lions are noted for their bravery and magnificence, and thus considered the best guardians for religious shrines, pagodas, and edifices, as they are often seen at the entrance of pagodas and temples. And in Myanmar and other South and Southeast Asian countries, Chin Fei are almost always depicted as pairs, or as locals believe that they serve to protect the pagoda. And as this in Myanmar, there's a great story of why the Chin Fei guards the entrance of pagodas, as a princess had a son through her marriage to a lion, but abandoned the lion. As the lion became enraged and set out the path of terror throughout the lands, the son, unbeknownst to him that the fierce lion was actually his own father, went out to slay him, and the victorious son came back home to his mother stating that he slew the lion, and then was informed that he killed his own father. As the son later constructed a statue of a lion as a guardian of the temple to atone for his sins. As his Chin Fei is revered and loved by the Burmese people, and is used symbolically on the royal thrones of Burma, and predating the use of coins for money, brass weights cast in the shape of mythical beasts like the Chin Fei, and were commonly used to measure standard quantities of staple items. And today the Chin Fei is featured prominently on the kyat, which is Myanmar's currency and all. Then moving on the Chin Fei, there's also the Belu or ogre. As a Belu is kind of with straightforward fangs, which eats humans, and is generally malevolent. That was a Pan Kike Belu. Moving on to Pansway Belu, which has curved or hooked fangs, which eat flowers and fruits, and is generally benevolent. And is a giant ogre similar to the Oriental gargoyle, and is a common feature of the stories of Buddhist scriptures, representing a huge, cruel humanoid, shape-shifting and man-eating monster. And it's not all horror with the Belu, but as an example of a benevolent Belu, he is named Papa Medar, and then namesake of Mount Papa in Shan State. As Papa Medu, also known as Queen Mother of Papa, Lady of Papa El Maywuna, is a nat or spirit of Myanmar. And she is also a flower-eating ogress. An extinct volcano 50 kilometers or 31 miles southeast of UNESCO World Heritage Site of Bagan. And according to legend, King Anurata of Bagan ordered Bayata, the mythical person of Indian descent, endowed with supernatural powers, upon consumption and of an inanimate Sagi, or a Burmese alchemist, to fetch fresh flowers 10 times daily from Mount Papa. As Bayata fell in love with Maywuna, known as Miss Gold, as they conceived the two brothers named Shui Hapin, Inferior Gold, and Shui Hapin No Dawa, and Shui Hapin Neidawa. Upon the glorification of the two brothers into the 39 Natpan Beyond the statue of Maewuna was raised and became the Queen Mother of Papa. As the title suggests, she has dominion over Mount Papa. Then there's a Magan, as the Magan in Myanmar is a mythical sea monster, representing a crocodile with prehensile snout and vice-like jaws. And in Hindu mythology, she can be depicted as a half-terrestrial animal. In the frontal part, a stag, deer, crocodile or elephant, and half aquatic. In its hindquarters, like generally fish or a seal tail, though sometimes a peacock or even floral tail is depicted. And also known as Makara, it can take many different forms throughout Asia. As in Hindu astrology, Makara is equivalent to the sign of Capricorn, 10th of the 12 symbols of the zodiac. There's also Pinsa Rupa, as the Pinsa Rupa is a creature made from the amalgamation of parts of 5 different animals: elephant, bullock, horse, carp and ternara, which is also known as a dragon. And an alternative belief is that it consists of a lion, elephant, buffalo, carp and hinta. It is an official mascot of Myanmar Airways International. So you can go and Google it if you want to. And then there's a Samari. As a Samari is a large long-haired wild or domesticated ox. As the vain creature generally values its hair. Then there's Manote Teha, which is kind of like a fabulous mythical creature with a man's torso and a lion's hindquarters. It's also depicted in a squatting posture on forked haunches. And the final one of the video, the Naga, Naya or Tuenya, which I kind of mentioned before as being a dragon. There's a Myanmar version of a dragon, the Naga, also known as Naya or Toanaya. This is roughly a snake with a dragon head, as a serpent-like mythical creature. Has no legs and yet is sometimes depicted with 4 legs, like Naga. Can be fire and turn objects or creatures to ash just by looking at them. So yeah, that's what I kind of know on the site I got the legends from. There's like a lot more, but it's like I wanted to keep it short and know what today was and all. So yeah, I'll put the links below in the description, and yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow later, and yeah, bye for now.